this question is a deduce information question. And if you have learnt how to deduce information before, deduce information is basically when you find out conclusions based on some clues that you have been given. However, these have not been stated. You just find them out based on what you have been told. So, when we evaluate this question, we need to read this question properly and circle some key words. So the first key word is once. Why is this once so important? That is because we need to understand that each team has played against each other only once, which is exactly why one team has only played 3 games. Make sure that you're not confused that they've each played 12 games, because 3 times 4 is 12. That's not correct. Through the entire game process, yes, there have been 12 games, but each team has only played 3 games, and that's 1 against each other team. Now, this is very important to know because that makes our life so much more easier. The question says, how many points did the Hawks get? We need to find out the number of points for the Hawks. However, we know nothing about the Hawks. All of these spots are empty. So the first thing that we can find out is we need to start deducing our information. That is the part where this comes into hand. Now we can find out that because each win equals 3 points, the Eagles have achieved 9 points. And because they have won 3 times, that means that all of their points come from winning. So we get the conclusion that Eagles have drawn 0 times and lost 0 times. We have completed the entire data for the Eagles. Now let's move on to the Falcons and the Condors. For the Falcons, because they've played 3 games and they have won 0 times, drawn 1 time, the only spot for the loss would be 2 times because we need to add them together to equal to 3. Same for the Condors, because they've lost 2 times, won 0 times, they must have drawn 1 time. And similarly, that must have been with the Falcons. Now, this is the part where we need to use some background information. If you have attended Rex class before, you would know that the number of wins must equal the number of losses. And right now, the number of wins is 3 and the number of losses is 4, which means that the number here and the number here, this number over here, must be 1 more than the number over here. Because the Eagles have won 3 games, which means that they have defeated all of the other games. So that means Hawks must have lost at least once. That means that because the draws have already settled, that means the win must be 2. Now let's do 2 times 3, which is 6, and we find out that the total points that the Hawks have scored is 6.